Two teams in need of a result tonight. It's under the lights in San Francisco as SF City FC hosts the BYU Cougars on the Bay Area Online Sports Network, and it's live, and it's next. Hello and good evening and welcome to the Bay Area Online Sports Network. My name is Charles Wolin. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Mike Geddes. And last weekend for SF City FC, they got a 1-1 draw, but they think they can do better.
Yeah, it was a decent result, Charles, and always important coming off the back of 2 defeats to get a positive result, and they got the draw. But I bumped into the coach, Paddy Coyne, after the game. He was very disappointed. He said it's back to the drawing board again because for him it was the same old story. Lack of organisation at a set piece, conceded a goal, then created chances but just couldn't put them away. And it was clear that Paddy Coyne thought they should have taken all 3 points. He'll be looking to do exactly that tonight.
Just looking for a little bit of luck. And on the flip side for BYU, they're led by Pedro Vasconcelos and Josh Hunter with 3 goals. They're going to have to come up pretty big time tonight for BYU to get the result.
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll be coming up against a San Francisco City defense that I thought looked pretty good, apart from conceding the goal in the last game out against San Diego. And I think it'll be interesting tonight to see whether they give the San Francisco City FC attack a harder time. I thought in the last game out, Max Murner, Ashley Watson, they had all the time in the world on the edge of the box to pick some passes, and it'll be interesting to see if BYU do a better job of closing them down and make it more difficult for City.
Well, they're both at the bottom of the table, and they both need points. We'll find out right after this with the first half lineups and kickoff. Welcome into wonderful and beautiful San Francisco as the sun begins to set. This is Charles Wolin alongside me, Mike Geddes. How are you doing this evening?
Doing very well, Charles, and really looking forward to this game. I think it's a very important one for San Francisco City FC. It's the kind of game that can really make a difference in the season. Is it going to be a winning season, or is it going to be a disappointing one for Paddy Coyne? They're coming off the back of a decent 1-1 draw, which was off the back of 2 defeats, so very important to stop the rot and get a result. But definitely Paddy Coyne is going to be looking to go one step further and get all 3 points tonight. And if they do that, then the season starts to look a little bit rosier as we move into that home stretch run-in. So very, very important for San Francisco City FC to go home with all 3 points tonight.
It's also an important road trip for BYU, though, at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were just talking to their coaches before the game, and they said they went through a little bit of a rush patch. They lost a couple of games to Fresno before coming up here to San Francisco, and they talked about their second performance was a bit better for them. They talked about being able to play a bit more in their style, and their coach was telling us that they like to play very organized, a very team which is set up from the back, from the centre halves, Junior Larty and Payden Pemberton. They look to play a very organized game, set out to not necessarily defend, but certainly to be very hard to break down, and that's going to be interesting because I thought San Francisco City FC had a very easy time last time out against San Diego Zest. I thought their midfielders, in particular Murner and Ashley Watson, had the freedom of the park, and it'll be interesting to see if things are a little bit tougher for them tonight against the BYU Cougars.
Well, standing by pitch side on the track right next to the San Francisco City FC bench is our intrepid 3rd member of our broadcast team, Shelly Alingus. Shelly?
Tough home series for SF City. Although they got a much-needed point against San Diego Zest, they have yet to win a match at home. Obviously not the result Paddy Coyne wants to see, especially after starting the season with such a great run on the road. I spoke to Paddy earlier today to get his perspective. Let's see what he had to say. Coach, you got a much-needed point from Sunday's draw, but what's it going to take to get 3 points tonight?
Like I said last week, the build-up play is good. We're getting in the final third a lot. It's just that finishing touch we need to get on the end of things. So hopefully, we've worked on it all week in practice. The guys just need to go out today and execute. We played Utah twice away, managed to get 1 win, and one of the games is a tie. So I know we got the beating of them.
Well, last match, you had a huge loss with Johannes exiting the game with a hamstring injury. What's the team's plan to fill that hole?
We have, a number of guys that can fill that hole. We've got a squad of 28, and everyone's well able to fill in for each other. It's a good deep squad, but Johannes is definitely a key leader in the team, key player in the forward pack. But we have a young lad, Bubba, who's going to step in today from SF State, and he proved really well last week and the week before that. He's just come back from injury himself, so I've got all the confidence in him to perform today.
Thank you so much, Coach, and best of luck.
Thanks for everything. Appreciate it.
On the other side, the Cougars are also at the bottom of the table. Both teams are desperate for points tonight. Should be an interesting match. And with that, I throw it back to your match commentators, Charles Wolin and Mike Geddes, for the first half call. Guys?
Thank you so much, Shelley. And we're just waiting for the two teams to come out of the tunnel any minute here on a wonderful Thursday night. I don't usually see weather like this. I live about 2 blocks away from this stadium, and the fog just gently starts to roll in at this time. It starts to get windy, but really it is just very calm, and perhaps maybe that sets the scene for specifically why this match is so important. A 4th place team and a 5th place team just looking to get those points, trying to get that result, trying to turn the corner and be lucky.
Yeah, and I think for San Francisco, they're going to be glad to see very calm conditions tonight, because I have thought they have struggled in the previous couple of games under the high balls. I thought the centre backs and the goalkeeper could have been a little bit sharper last week out against San Diego. They do look a little bit nervous when those high balls are delivered into the box from corner kicks and free kicks, and often the conditions can play a role in that. It's a very turbulent sort of weather system we've got up here at Kezar Stadium, and oftentimes that can make it difficult for defenders. But beautiful conditions tonight. Really looking forward to a good game of passing, possession, soccer. I mean, I thought San Francisco played very, very well against San Diego. They tried to keep it on the deck, at least for the first hour. I thought they actually, when they started going with long aerial balls towards Myrna in the second half, they were less effective. So I hope they really keep that passing game, play those balls into the feet of Myrna, into the feet of Watson, and really try and pull this BYU defense around. It's going to be interesting to see how they do, because BYU, as we've talked about, they really like to come out and be very organized and hard to break down. And interesting, too, to see how City cope with the attacking threat. I've talked earlier, Charles, just before the broadcast about, how they really got an easy ride against San Diego Zest, and I thought the defenders weren't really challenged that much. And tonight they're going to have a much tougher test against BYU, particularly the attacking prowess of the number 10, the Brazilian Pedro Vasconcelos. It's going to be interesting to see how Jordan Hughes copes with him, how Christian De Luna and also Kevin Gould marshal the back of that defense. So I'm expecting a much tougher test for City tonight than it got against San Diego, and let's hope they go home with all 3 points.
Well, a really interesting stat line. Back in 2007, the now defunct California Victory played against BYU in the first round of the U.S. Open Cup, defeating BYU 2-1. And in the 65th minute, Yuri Morales, who is a big-timer and it basically runs America Scores now here in the Bay Area, was the person that scored that goal for the California Victory of USL. Kind of a short-lived franchise, but they did get a couple of wins in the U.S. Open Cup. So before the last 2 games, the draw and the win that SF City got against BYU in Provo, they have that little bit of series history. That game was played at South Field, of course, in Provo as well. So we are getting set for the first half kickoff. We will be right back with the first half lineup, the lineups for both teams. We'll meet them and we will get underway shortly.
It's really hard to get that recognition.
There aren't many places where nonprofits are being recognized.
We have such a great community. We have so many intelligent, amazing leaders. There's organizations popping up all the time who are doing incredible and innovative things.
Something like Classy and the collaborative and the awards ceremony, it just really platforms the good work that's being done. I would definitely tell other organizations to apply for the nomination, to engage with what Classy is doing through the awards ceremony and through the collaborative.
I would definitely encourage any organizations out there interested in applying to go through the process. It's helpful for your own thinking internally. What are you putting out there? What does research show?
They benefit from that experience by receiving the recognition they deserve for, the work that they're doing, and also discovering ways that they can improve the way that they're impacting the world. It shifts the paradigm on what organizations should be and could be.
I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm proud to be in front of all you folks who put service above self and make a difference in the world.
Among all of these great organizations that are doing such important work trying to solve the world's toughest challenges.
Wow, this is amazing.
Being here tonight in this room with so many distinguished nonprofit pioneers has been a humbling experience.
And tonight's batch is the creme de la creme of those groups.
Okay, the cry, the tears can start right here, so be careful.
Goodness gracious, what an honor to receive an award like this in a room full of such greatness.
What this award really is about for our organization is a group of people that really said, it's not good enough anymore.
And the classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
The classy goes to...
The classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
The players are walking out of the tunnel right now, getting in their paces and their places. No pun intended or rhyme intended there. And we are getting set for PDL action here in the Central Pacific Division between the 4th place team, San Francisco City FC, and the 5th place team, the BYU Cougars. SF City with a game in hand on the leaders, Fresno Fuego. Will it count tonight? BYU looking to get that result. They've played well. The points haven't showed that. We'll be right back, with the first half kickoff after this.
When we bought our new Outback from Putnam Subaru of Burlingame and San Francisco, we experienced more. Experience more with Putnam Subaru of Burlingame and San Francisco.
I was one of those guys who didn't think the Army had anything for me. Then I found out that less than 0.1% of all Americans wear the uniform of an Army officer. It's a small group of us, but we're among the most highly educated compared to many other corporations or institutions. I was surprised at what I found in being an officer and at what the Army helped bring out of me. I'm Major Miles B. Caggins III, Officer, United States Army.
Find a stronger future as an officer at goarmy.com/officer. There's strong, then there's Army Strong.
The Putnam family is celebrating 50 years of service in the Bay Area. From the nation's top brands with thousands of cars to choose from, the best certified pre-owned vehicles, the Putnam Dealership Group delivers. Test drive in the open space of the peninsula. After 50 years, our overhead is so low, we're passing the savings on to you. Our customers love us, and it shows with our online reviews. Make your next stop at the Putnam Auto Mall on California Drive in Burlingame.
You know, it's really hard to get that recognition.
There aren't many places where nonprofits are being recognized.
We have such a great community. We have so many intelligent, amazing leaders. There's organizations popping up all the time who are doing incredible and innovative things.
Something like Classy and the Collaborative and the awards ceremony, it just really platforms the good work that's being done. I would definitely tell other organizations to apply for the nomination, to engage with what Classy is doing through the awards ceremony and through the collaborative.
I would definitely encourage any organizations out there interested in applying to go through the process. It's helpful for your own thinking internally. What are you putting out there? What does research show?
They benefit from that experience by receiving the recognition they deserve for, you know, the work that they're doing, and also discovering ways that they can improve the way that they're impacting the world. It shifts the paradigm on what organizations should be and could be.
I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm proud to be in front of all you folks who put service above self and make a difference in the world.
Among all of these great organizations that are doing such important work trying to solve the world's toughest challenges.
Wow, this is amazing. Being here tonight in this room with so many distinguished nonprofit pioneers has been a humbling experience.
And tonight's badge.
Wonderful night in San Francisco. As you can see, the Northsiders, the San Francisco City FC supporters group, loud and proud on the far side of Kezar Stadium. Of course, the north side waving all sorts of flags, SF City, gay flags, USF flags, San Francisco City FC flags, San Francisco flags, you name it. They are in full voice today and behind their team. Let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the visitors, the BYU Cougars. It's just one change from the team that lost 3-1 against Fresno Fuego FC on Saturday. Brandon Altman still in goal. The right back is Mitchell Scott, Junior Larte and Ethan Meyer, the two center backs, and Connor Fordham at left back. It's a three-man midfield with Peyton Pemberton, Tanner Whitworth, and Jake Miles at attacking center mid. Pedro Vasconcelos on the right, Josh Hunter, the danger man, with 3 goals for BYU on the left, and through the middle is Ryan Botcherby. And now for SF City FC. They make 3 changes from the team that drew against San Diego Zest FC. In goal, Austin Harms, Christian DeLuna, and Kevin Gould make up the 2 center backs. Barry McCabe slides in at the right back spot. Bobby Edwards, of course, out wide left. The 3-man midfield is headed up by Jordan Hughes, who's playing in the defensive midfield position. Ashley Watson, that scored on the weekend, and Merlin Baus, who comes into the side, who scored 2 goals against BYU in the reverse fixture when they met last time from the penalty spot. Bubba Kelly maintains his place, but moves up to the right side. Trevor Heineman now in the team, and Max Murner, the target striker. And we are now underway here at Kezar Stadium. SF City FC going from right to left, wearing all black. BYU wearing white jerseys this evening. A good color contrast. This is Heineman for SF City FC. Now Edwards, who's actually tied with Baus with 2 goals on the season, all from the left back spot. Yeah, very strange indeed. This is Christian DeLuna now.
And I think, Charles, what Paddy Coyne's going to be looking for is a nice, calm start to the half. We've seen the last couple of games, City have conceded after the restart, pretty soon after the breaks. And that it's important that they get a good start, that they go through the first 10, 15 minutes or so pretty untroubled, get settled into this game and start to build some attacking platforms.
This is Josh Hunter now, breaking back onto his right foot for BYU. Now Ashley Watson for SF City FC. A great diagonal from the center channel to the right. And now Max Murner, who had a terrific game on the weekend. He was unlucky not to score a goal, but good hold-up play. Edwards. And now bringing to the fray Heineman onto his right foot. Looking for Murner, and his header goes a little bit wide.
Yeah.
Hyman.
Decent bright start for San Francisco, moving the ball around. I think that's one thing they did very, very well against San Diego is move the play from the left side to the right. They pulled the defenders across and they did it to good effect there, getting Hyman in down the left-hand side. The cross didn't have enough pace on it really for my money. He wanted to whip that in towards the goalkeeper, give Max Murner something to work with, but still decent start. I think Paddy Coyne will be quite happy with that.
Is Barry McCabe with his first touch of the ball. He sat out on Sunday after playing the whole game against Burlingame, a 4-0 defeat. Pemberton trying to get on the ball, but stolen by Edwards. And now held up by Murner, over to Watson, closed down by Junior Larte, who's one of those steel-strong defenders for BYU.
It's a good start, Charles. It's very bright. You've seen Watson get on the ball early, Murner get on the ball early. Bubba Kelly, is looking to get down that right-hand side. I like the look of it so far from City.
Diagonal ball by McCabe. He's looking for the target man in Murner. And having a difficult time clearing is Mitchell Scott. Murner marshaled away for a throw. Mitchell Scott actually just came back from his mission where he was in Orlando in December. We got a chance to chat with Steve Magleby before the game, the assistant, and he was saying that Mitchell was definitely having a tough time feeling the effects of Sunday's tragedy and playing for all of those folks as well. Long throw in now for SF City FC. This will be taken by Bubba Kelly, who had a great game, a man-of-the-match performance for the side on Saturday. Headed away.
Yeah, I thought Bubba Kelly was excellent on Saturday. Ironically, Charles, I thought actually he faded a little bit when he was pushed into that advanced position. He seems to thrive when he's asked to do absolutely everything, defend and attack. But I'm a big, big fan of this guy. I thought he had an excellent game, and I'm looking forward to more from him tonight in that attacking role.
Bubba Kelly's throw in almost falls for Max Murner, and Ottman is right there. BYU conceded 2 goals in their first 20 minutes of their last game against Fresno Fuego. They're a little bit unlucky. They were able to score a goal just before halftime and push on, but the final score was 3-1. But look, this is Josh Hunter, and Josh Hunter right to Austin Harms, and BYU can break really quickly. They want to get the ball to Hunter and Pedro Vasconcelos as well. And those are the 2 danger men. They're both playing out wide and can create a lot of havoc for the 2 outside backs if SF City's outside backs are going to push up that high as well. That is a really interesting strategic moment tonight for head coach Brandon Gillen's team.
Yeah, it's interesting that both teams are playing with this central striker supported by 2 wide forwards, because what that means is that it gives the centre halves and the fullbacks a problem. They've got players playing in those channels, pulling them across, and you saw there for City, they got a little bit caught in 2 minds, and Barry McCabe was a little bit out of position there and allowed Josh Hunter to get in that gap between him and the centre half. And I thought Hunter actually had a bit more time. He could even have taken that down and looked up to see where the support was coming. So just a reminder for City that they do pose a threat on the break, BYU.
Ashley Watson on his left foot. It's a nice ball. He was looking for Bobby Edwards. Falls for DeLuna instead, wearing the captain's band for the 2nd game in a row, Christian DeLuna. Plays just up the road at the University of San Francisco, less than half a mile away from here. Now to his center back partner, Kevin Gould, who just graduated from the University of San Francisco, and just in front of them, Jordan Hughes. So a lot of familiarity with those 3 in those central positions, the defensive midfield player and the 2 center backs.
Yeah, and sometimes that can help, Charles, having that relationship, especially in those important positions. I mean, people often talk about the importance of having a settled spine of players who are comfortable playing with each other. I think you saw for the England team, for example, putting in Eric Dyer and Dele Alli, just making sure you've got that familiarity and people know and kind of can have a second sense about when those players are going to make those runs. And I think that's going to help San Francisco City. And let's see if that that USF magic can kind of run off on them here tonight.
Headed on. And threaded through for Josh Hunter. Here he is. He's closed down by Gould. Now Josh Hunter looks to go back onto his right foot. Comes off of the chest of Gould, and McCabe is able to clear. Now a long throw for BYU. And you can just kind of tell in those small little areas where SF City switches off, BYU can definitely hurt you. And they're looking to find the feet of Josh Hunter. He's so fun to watch, too.
Yeah, and interesting that they're attacking down that left-hand side, attacking where Bubba Kelly was last week, and now he's moved up. And the great thing about Bubba Kelly last week was that he did a great defensive job as well, pressing high, putting on the pressure, making the tackles. And now he's not there. It's interesting to see how Barry McCabe copes in his place.
A little chip shot by Peyton Pemberton that just goes over the crossbar. Nice idea by Pemberton. He had a little bit of space in front of him, too. Could have taken an extra touch, maybe fired that at goal a little bit more.
Yeah, but so far I think it's been pretty comfortable for City, Charles. I mean, they have had a couple of looks there for Josh Hunter, but they haven't really made any threatening moves towards Austin Harms in the City goal. And so far I think it's been reasonably comfortable. Again, Paddy Coyne, if there's one thing that he's going to want to make sure his team do not do, it's concede early after the restart or after the start of the game from a set piece or because of a lack of organisation. I think he's not going to mind so much if BYU score a wonder goal, but what he's going to be looking for is that his team don't do what they have been doing in the last few games and switch off on a set piece, switch off on a free kick, and concede early in the half because it can be so damaging.
Diagonal ball to Murner, excuse me, and he's offside. SF City still looking for their first home win after having a great little start to the season on the road. 3 wins and a tie, dropping the home opener here about 10 days ago and having the tie against San Diego Zest. This is Trevor Hyman, who's just been added into the first 11 just today. Had a great outing for himself on Saturday to kind of cement his place in the team. Edwards, his cross low and on the ground. And now this is Vasconcelos looking for Botcherby. Nice hold-up play. Pemberton now, who had that shot just moments ago. Taken by Josh Hunter on the left. Josh Hunter with the shot, and a save by Austin Harms. And the first big-time chance of the game falls to BYU.
Yeah, and we talked just earlier, Charles, about Barry McCabe. It's important he does a good job there replacing Bubba Kelly at right back, and he dived in needlessly there. I didn't think he needed to go in and go to ground. His man beat him, and a dangerous chance. So we'll see how City cope with this corner. They haven't had a good track record of dealing with set pieces early in the game. Let's see if they can do better right now.
It's a short corner. Vasconcelos, and now Miles. Vasconcelos, a little chip into the area and headed away by Murner out of that center forward spot to get that one away. Almost kept in by Ashley Watson, but this will be a BYU ball in front of the SF City bench. Looking to turn, Vasconcelos. Pemberton now. Larte. Pemberton with a little bit of space in front of him to run. Vasconcelos, a nice nutmeg. This is Jake Miles, and another corner for BYU here in this first 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're just starting to wake up a little bit, BYU, just starting to assert themselves on the game. You just saw the first hint of Brazilian flair there from Pedro Vasconcelos with a nutmeg pass, nearly putting a man in on goal there, and now another corner. So just exerting a little bit of pressure here, BYU, and City are going to want to get back possession. They are at home. They do want to get that elusive first home win here at Cougars, so we're wanting to see them get on the ball a little bit more and weather this early bit of pressure.
Vasconcelos. And Miles standing over the ball again. The last one was a short corner. Let's see if this is something that they continuously do. It looks like it's not going to be. Vasconcelos. His ball far side. Junior Larte falls for Pemberton. SF City trying to clear. They finally do. Ball switched from the center channel back to the right. Vasconcelos onto his left foot. Swerves the ball in. Not the best of services. Kind of a lazy ball. Cleared away by DeLuna. And now Murner, 1v1 here.
And I think we saw there. I think we saw there is going to be a tactic that BYU use is going long to Junior Larte. We saw San Francisco City FC actually score from a goal like that last week when Max Murner was the target man at the far post and just nodded it across goal. And Junior Larte was trying to do something similar there. He's a big guy. He's a very strong, commanding aerial presence. That's clearly going to be a tactic of BYU and something that Christian DeLuna and Kevin Gould are going to have to cope with.
Certainly, and when we spoke with Brandon Gillum, he said he's one of the best defenders in the entire PDL, probably one of the best center backs in this side of the division. You can certainly see that. Larte, whose family is originally from Ghana. Second ball won by Edwards, but gifted away back to Pemberton. Down the right side, he was looking for Ethan Meyer, headed away by DeLuna. Meyer to reset now. Low and on the ground by Jake Miles. And now Larte. Larte dribbling through a couple of SF City players. And another throw in for BYU in front of the SF City bench. Nice couple of minutes here for BYU on the attacking front.
Yeah, you have to say BYU are on top, and now it's City who are looking to make that break. They're confident now. BYU can see the back heel there going through to Vasconcelos. He's trying the mazy dribbles, and it really is BYU who are asserting the pressure now.
Hunter Whitworth now switching the field and doing so very nicely and finding Connor Fordham onto his right foot. Trying to play in Ryan Botcherby. It's stolen, and SF City with possession down the right sideline with Murner, but it's going to go for another BYU throw. They were trying to break there, find the target, but BYU's kept them in. Kelly. And now Hughes, who looks to switch the field through the feet of Watson, outside of the foot, looking for Bubba Kelly.
Well, before the game, Charles, we were talking about, whether BYU were going to offer a sterner test in defense than San Diego Zest had the last time out. And that's exactly what's happening. San Francisco City, they're not getting the space that they were in the last game. Murner, Watson, they're getting closed down very, very quickly. I'm impressed already by this BYU backline. I think Larty's been outstanding. They're working as a unit. They're closing down the space. They took them a while to get into this game, but they're firmly on top now.
And a free kick. Just around 35 yards away on the right side, won by Ryan Botcherby, whose hold-up play has been pretty good too. A strong, sturdy presence as well in the number 9 role.
Yeah, and a dangerous position here. So we're going to see how City cope with another set-piece ball in. It's been 3 or 4 already in the first 15 minutes they've had to deal with. And they do look to have some decent delivery. It looks like it's going to be Vasconcelos again standing over it, who seems to be pretty comfortable delivering the ball on either foot. It's going to be his right this time, and another test for Austin Harms and the City defense.
Vasconcelos, his delivery almost finds Larte, but headed away by Barry McCabe. Stolen by Hyman here. But back with Vasconcelos. Who else? And a nice another nutmeg. Number 2. Should maybe even have a nutmeg count for him today on Ashley Watson.
Yeah, Ashley Watson's not going to be happy about that because Watson usually likes to be the person dishing out the nutmeg, so he's not going to be happy to see one go through his legs. Chance now for BYU.
Vasconcelos now, low and on the ground, saved by Harms. Bubbled it a bit. Kind of parried right in front of his chest, but he was right there too. Vasconcelos on his right foot, moving to his left there. And now Ashley Watson. Here comes SF City on the counterattack on the right-hand side. A ball over the top. It's Bubba Kelly. It hits the post. Bubba Kelly hits the post again. Oh, it's so unlucky.
Desperately unlucky there, Bubba Kelly. I mean, what an excellent run. We actually saw again against San Diego. He was put in over the top. He had a chance to lob the keeper, and he got it wrong there. It was a perfectly timed run. It looked like this time he'd got the angle of the ball in the loft just about right, coming back off the post, and then the rebound again. Desperately unlucky there, Bubba Kelly. Fantastic run. Really the first time he's got into that position, and it was a great little ball by Ashley Watson, by the way, and very encouraging that for City. They're going to want to see more of that from Kelly.
And why not Bubba Kelly, who had a great game, as we had spoken about last time out. Take a look at this. The first post. The second.
Yeah, very unlucky. I thought he was just going to squeeze it in at the near post, a little bit like Daniel Sturridge earlier on today for England against Wales, but just unable to get it in there. It came back off the upright, but I'm sure Bubba Kelly will have more chances as the game progresses.
Good work there by Jake Miles, holding off Hughes, trying to play the diagonal in for Ryan Botcherby, that final ball. I think Jake Miles, for me, is quite dangerous, too, on the ball. He's starting in that attacking midfield position tonight, the one change that BYU has made. And for Bubba Kelly, he's lucky there's 75 minutes left on the clock because he was certainly deserving of a goal last time out. And if you can hit the post 2 times, you got to imagine he might get closer the next time. DeLuna, it's a great ball over the top, looking for Murner, who chests it down. Larte marshalling him out. And Larte does win back possession, but so too there is Bobby Edwards.
Yeah, he's a monster, Junior Larte. I mean, the name Junior really does him a disservice because he is a big unit of a guy, looks comfortable in possession as well, dominant in defense. He's going to be a real challenge for Max Murner to break down because Murner is a tall guy, but he's not that physical. He's not that big. He tends to use his skill, bring the ball down out of the air. And if they're going to play those balls in the air into the channel, which is something that they did in the final 30 minutes of the game last week, they're going to have a much tougher time of it against someone like Junior Larte.
Well, it's going to be a long throw in here to BYU. Connor Fordham will take it. It was won by Ryan Botcherby in the corner against Kevin Gould. This is Josh Hunter, the talisman for BYU. Edwards is there. Vasconcelos, and now finding Ethan Meyer. Ethan Meyer is shot! Oh, it's a wonder goal by Ethan Meyer from the right back spot. On the 18th minute mark, Ethan Meyer. What a goal!
Well, we've talked about one player playing down that right-hand side, Bubba Kelly, and he's got some competition here. What a goal by Ethan Meyer. Just got a little bit of space, looked up, hit it with the right foot, absolute rocket into the top corner. It was good work here from Vasconcelos again. Too much space for me for Ethan Meyer here. You can see it opening up. DeLuna's backing off. Meyer goes for goal, and absolute peach of a strike. 1-0 to BYU.
SF City having to play from behind again here at home. This is the 3rd time that they're going to have to play from behind here at Kezar Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier on, didn't I, Charles? I said that Paddy Coyne is not going to care if they concede a wonder goal. I'm sure he does care. My point was that he's not going to want to see them concede sloppy goals. But for something like that, there's really not much you can do. You can maybe question DeLuna because he was backing off, and Hughes came across too late to get the challenge in. But that's just an absolute fantastic strike. I don't care which level you're talking about, the Euros, the Copa, the PDL. That is a world-class strike, and it's fitting to grace any game.
Well, DeLuna might be in a little bit of trouble here. Ryan Botcherby now on the ground. He's clutching his face and his right ankle. I don't believe DeLuna was booked, but he did have a chat with the referee, and perhaps since he's the captain tonight, the referee does give him a little bit of leeway there. Free kick here to BYU. The score is BYU 1, San Francisco 0 here. I was just going to say you kind of get the feeling in this first 20 minutes after these two teams played just 2 weeks ago, within a span of 3 days, and playing one another again 2 weeks later, really familiar, and it would be very cagey, but it's kind of open, and both teams have had their fair share. This is Vasconcelos now on the free kick, swerves it in. The lead comes off the head of Pemberton. The offside flag is raised. Reset here to San Francisco. BYU certainly getting on the board first and in a big way.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, Charles. I mean, City started well. BYU looked a little bit timid when they came out of the blocks. It took them a while to get settled, but then they've really developed as an attacking force, and we've seen them use that ball over the top to Hunter. We've seen the skills of Pedro Vasconcelos, 2 nutmegs already, and now we've seen the shooting prowess of Ethan Meyer, an absolutely fantastic goal that I can't wait to see again at half-time, and really BYU are on top now. I mean, apart from that chance for Bubba Kelly, there haven't been any chances on target for San Francisco City. We're going to see what they do with this this attack, but it's really, once again, an interesting test of this team's character. If they're gonna get that first win here at Keyser, they're gonna have to do it the hard way. So let's see. They've got a lot of the game left to go. That is on their side. They've got great support behind them. It's a fantastic evening. It's perfectly set up for that fairy tale to come from a goal behind. We saw England do it earlier on today at the Euros, and let's see whether City can do the same.
This is Bobby Edwards now, switching the field through Kevin Gould. And now Barry McCabe down the right sideline, trying to thread a ball in. Just trying to look for Bubba Kelly down the right side. We'll see how their partnership is tonight. You can tell the partnership between Hyman and Edwards is good. They both played at Stanford University. Hyman winning the national championship in 2015 with that squad. He's got 1 year left. Edwards, who graduated in 2014. Edwards now for SF City. And now this is Bouse. Plenty of space in front of him. Merlin Bouse. Merlin Bouse with the shot. And takes, that is Mitchell Scott who got in the way of that shot. Nice block there by the center back. Scott now. Larte out of the back. Vasconcelos. Great work by the Brazilian from Sao Paulo. He did his mission in Santa Rosa and went to high school in Utah. Most of these players have been on their mission already. A couple of them are still yet to go on their mission as part of their curriculum at BYU. They've been in the PDL since 2003.
I think one thing that's interesting, Charles, about the game so far is that those attackers for City, well, they've given it away here. This is dangerous. Given away by Edwards, I think, or DeLuna.
Whitworth with the opportunity there, and he had Josh Hunter available to him on the left side. He had the opening for a while and couldn't find him. Edwards down the sideline looking for the target man, Murner. He's up against Larte and Mitchell Scott tonight. Ashley Watson over the top. Bubba Kelly is there, but no offside flag as BYU tries to clear their lines. They finally do. Header is on. The target man, Botcherby.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Charles, that the attacking trio of City are finding themselves having to defend a lot more than they did against San Diego. Watson's being pulled back. Murner's having to cover that back four, who are pretty comfortable playing out of defense. You know, I've noticed that Larty very comfortable in distribution. They've got good passing players, Mitchell Scott, also Ethan Meyer, and that's meaning that the City attackers are having to work very hard. Hyman here, who does a really good job, I have to say, defensively. He's very busy. He's very quick to get around and put that pressure on, but it's meaning that City are not able to get their attacking players on the ball as much as they would like.
This is Jake Miles, and his cross was for another corner. The third corner of the game for the BYU Cougars, nursing a 1-0 lead. They did the short corner in their first corner. The second one was a long one. Now here's the third one. It's a short corner too. Vasconcelos tries to swerve the ball in on a left foot, but headed away by Barry McCabe. And obviously this is something that they practice from the training ground. This game is sponsored by Classy. It's a fundraising platform for organizations focused on positive social change. They are trusted by over 2,500 of the world's top nonprofits and social enterprises and are a proud partner of SF City FC. Fourth corner kick now to BYU. Vasconcelos behind the ball with his hand raised. An outswinging corner. It's fizzed in. Kevin Gould is there to head it away. Second ball bouncing around. Ashley Watson does clear. Watson still with possession. Trying to find the outlet. Can't do it. Falls out to Vasconcelos on the right, marshaled out by Edwards. This is Miles. Jake Miles tries to take the shot on his left foot. Really did not get the accuracy he would have liked.
Little bit too easy there, though, for Miles to turn away from a couple of defenders. Paddy Coyne's not going to be terrifically happy to see that. Miles just a little drop of the shoulder and a turn, and suddenly he had space to shoot. And fortunately for City, he made a terrible job of it, putting it well over the bar. But certainly they're going to want to see City coming back into this half. We've got 25 minutes gone, and really BYU looking like the home team at the moment. It's City who are being forced to hit on the break. BYU getting the more crisp passing possession going. So City are going to want to get back on top of this game, get the fans behind them, and ideally get a goal before the break.
I just wonder if they missed some of their leadership within the team. Johannes DeMarzi came up lame with a hamstring injury in around the 30th minute of last game, and Benjamin Brewster, who hasn't been available all season long. He played in the U.S. Open Cup. He played for the Tulsa Roughnecks last year on a professional contract. He's one of the most professional guys on the team. This is Bobby Edwards now. Bobby Edwards right to Ottman. But you might think that a big bruising center back like Ben Brewster, and no pun intended there, and DeMarzi not being on the field at the same time as kind of those overage players is a bit challenging for this squad.
Yeah, DeMarci's a big miss. I thought he was excellent the last game out. It's a real shame that he had to go off injured. And he plays in a similar role to Vasconcelos who's playing here for BYU. He's very busy. He drifts wide, then he comes in field. He drags players out of position. And he's a very, very smart player, very intelligent player, knows when to run, knows when to hold. He's got a good eye for a pass. And he is a miss for them here tonight. I mean, Trevor Hyman, I think he's very busy. He's very industrious. He puts pressure on, but he perhaps lacks that extra bit of footballing IQ that Johannes DeMarzi brings to this team. So it's a miss definitely for City. They're going to have to see how this rigid defense does. I would like to see Ashley Watson on the ball a little bit more. He's had possession a couple of times, but as he did a couple of times in the last game, he's just maybe tried to rush possession and kind of play the unnecessary ball. I'd like to see him get a little bit more settled and then play a few more passes and especially get it into the feet of Max Murner and not keep sending it aerial to put Murner up against Junior Larty, because that's really a battle that Murner is not going to win.
Tough challenge there by Trevor Hyman. This broadcast is brought to you by Freedom Plus. With a personal loan from Freedom Plus, you could score any goal from paying off credit card debt to financing a home renovation, like our very own Stephen Davies. Flexible terms are on fixed-rate loans up to $35,000 are available now. Visit freedomplus.com to get your free no-risk quote. Freedom Plus is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a proud supporter of San Francisco City Football Club. We are in the 29th minute here at Kezar Stadium on a beautiful night. You just don't get weather like this. I don't want to talk about the weather that much, but you almost have to, just because it's so crisp out here. Not really windy, and the fog hasn't moved in from the Pacific Ocean. If you're just joining us and you've never been to the stadium before, we are exactly 3 miles from the Pacific Ocean, and it is an El Nino season this year, although we are in the summer, but it still matters. This is Ashley Watson now, breaking back onto his left foot. Ashley Watson with the shot. May have had a little bit more space in front of him there to do some more.
Yeah, again, Charles, Ashley Watson in possession, in a good position. He's just tried to rush his shot. He's shooting there from all of 35 yards, and it's got to be something very, very special to beat Brendan Ottman from that range. Now, Watson, you know, he had yards in front of him. He's got eager runners either side of him. He's got Kelly bombing down the right side. He's got Murner on the left. He doesn't have to take that shot on. So, again, I would like to see Ashley Watson just use his head a little bit more, keep control of the ball, value possession a little bit more, and then work to take a slightly easier chance, because they are starting to make inroads, City. They've made a couple, but they could just be a little bit more careful in possession.
Long by Larte. Kelly deals with it. And now this is Merlin Baus, and perhaps maybe he's shaking off the rust from his legs. He played in the home opener here just around 10 days ago, but was injured after the game and didn't play on Saturday. But he is a special player as well, very technical, gifted on the ball, and is also the leading goal scorer of this side. Ball over the top by Watson. Not sure if it was intended for Kelly or for McCabe.
I'm surprised, Charles, he didn't come this side to Bobby Edwards, because Bobby Edwards had all sorts of space down this left-hand side. And again, Watson is looking for the Hollywood pass, if you like, over to Bubba Kelly. Not saying that those balls aren't valuable. Bubba Kelly's not a great outlet, but Edwards was in a lot of space down this left-hand side. And again, I thought Watson could have had time to get his head up, pick the simpler pass, and then look to get in a good position and get on the end of the cross instead of trying to play that killer ball in behind the defense for Kelly.
Watson, who plies his trade usually at SF State during the college soccer season. He was the leading goal scorer of the SF State Golden Gators in 2015, 3 goals and 2 assists. Bubba Kelly was the leading assist man, all from that right midfield spot, with 3 on the year as well. Those two keen to linking up just as much as the USF guys too. Murner looking for the return pass for Hyman. Settled by Bounce. Edwards now looking to get down that left side. He'll do that all day. Haven't seen the same from McCabe on the right side, but you can tell Edwards, as one of the older players on the team, really is fired up and he wants to get a result tonight. Also a versatile player. He's played in the midfield 3 for this team and played as a center mid at Stanford. Ball off the chest of McCabe, settled. Pemberton with the shot, and it's saved by Austin Harms. But a nice build-up there for BYU, cutting over from the right, from the right to the left, back to the right. Josh Hunter laid off a fantastic ball for Pemberton.
Yeah, Austin Harms does well there because Christian DeLuna's coming across his line of sight as the shot comes in, and it could have unsighted him a little bit, but he did very well to hold on to it and not to spill it forward and create another chance for another attacker.
This is Bubba Kelly, who loses out to Fordham.
I was just going to say, Charles, that I think we haven't seen as much adventure from Barry McCabe on that right-hand side because I think Paddy Coyne is aware of the threat of Josh Hunter going down that left-hand channel. Just seeing a replay of the strike here. Yeah, you see DeLuna's coming right across the line of sight there. Pemberton with the shot, left-footed. I mean, he didn't hit it tremendously well, I have to say, put it right at the keeper, but Austin Harms does well to hold on to it. And just talking about, the decision to put Bubba Kelly up in that right-hand side position, you can see the two coaches talking about how these tactics are working out. I think they're aware of the threat of Josh Hunter, and they've told Barry McCabe, look, Bubba Kelly's going to be the guy that gets forward. You don't need to do that attacking side. You can just sit back and defend. But he has had a couple of nervous moments. I think that having Josh Hunter, he's one of those players who just sits on your shoulder. He's always waiting for a mistake. He's always willing to run off the back of long balls forward. And I think Barry McCabe looks a little bit nervous. You saw there, he didn't deal with that ball, and it led to the shot from Pemberton that fortunately Austin Harms was able to save. But definitely it's that left-hand side where it looks like BYU are getting most of their joy.
Well, the foul as Jake Miles goes to ground. And Pedro Vasconcelos going to take this one. The supporters don't like it on the far side. And you can definitely hear that. Vasconcelos ball, far stick, and Harms is there. A nice delivery by Vasconcelos, and Harms had to be pretty sturdy there. The sun is in his eyes as well, as McCabe almost gives away possession in the final third. Now Watson, as the ball trickles over Jake Miles' foot. And can Bounce get there? This is Ethan Meyer, the goal scorer for Vasconcelos, trying to turn the corner on Edwards with his first touch. Watson down to Murner. Over to the left side, Bounce. Bounce looking for Murner. And maybe Murner wasn't expecting the ball to just dip as much as it did there on that cross by Bounce from the left to the right.
It's actually a very good cross there by Merlin Bouse. He bent it in very well towards the goalkeeper, and Max Murner just a little bit on his heels. He hadn't anticipated the cross being put in with as much power, and that's might be problems here for McCabe at the right back.
Well, it looks like a penalty may have been given there for a high boot by Barry McCabe on Josh Hunter.
Well, we just talked about it, Charles. The fact that Barry McCabe looked a little bit nervous out there up against the pace and trickery of Josh Hunter, and maybe that contributed to that decision. The ball was coming in, and he just panicked and put out a foot, and it looks like he's caught him high. We might be able to take a look at a replay in a second. The ball comes in. You can see he looks up, and then he sees that Hunter's there. He just wants to get that clear, and yeah, that's pretty reckless there by McCabe. He knows what he's done. His head goes into his hands as the referee points to the spot, and what a challenge we've got now on for City.
Well, the right boot is raised. Referee pointed right to the spot for the penalty. Of course, Vasconcelos is going to take this one, as Josh Hunter is tended to on the far side.
You just talked about the sun, Charles. It's right in Austin Harms' face. How's that going to affect him?
Vasconcelos, oh, saved by Harms! Will that come back to bite BYU later? That's a huge save by Austin Harms with his right mitt. A save he needed to make because he hasn't been in the team for the last couple of weeks. Manny Jimenez has been the preferred goalkeeper. He's been injured, and Austin Harms has had to deputize for him.
Yeah, terrific save by Austin Harms. He got across a big, strong right hand to push it away. It's a comfortable height, Charles. If you want to score the penalties, it's best to go low. Look for the corners, low or high. That one was at the middle of the goal, but he struck it pretty well, Vasconcelos. Going for the side of the goal, Austin Harms with an excellent save.
Well, the score still 1-0, and that really could have been tough on SF City if they went down 2-0. BYU would have been in dreamland up 2-0 before halftime. As Murner is there to marshal it out for a throw-in deep near the corner flag. I'm not hedging my bets on this game whatsoever. Chested down by Edwards. Smartly to his goalkeeper. Edwards now. Breaking from the left to the center channel. Finds the feet of Murner.
And again, Charles, you can see it's Miles there. Jake Miles getting back from attacking mid to put on the pressure and win the ball back from Murner. Very impressive the way this BYU Cougars unit defends from the front. They're not allowing City's flair players, their technical players like Murner and Watson to settle, and dangerous on the break.
Ethan Meyer with a long ball. Harms comes out. The referee's going to chat with Ryan Botcherby there, and perhaps maybe Harms got a little bit lucky there. As his boot may have gotten caught with Botcherby. Botcherby wants a call there.
I think it's a little bit naughty from Austin Harms there, Charles. He's come out and left his boot in on Botcherby. I was a little bit worried there when I saw Botcherby go down because, you know, we just saw the referee give a free kick for a penalty, for a high boot. Austin Harms, I think he was always in control of that situation. We'll see the replay now. The ball's coming through. It looks like he just raises the knee and put it into the midriff of Botcherby there. I mean, I think his first intention was always to claim the ball, but it looks like he didn't want Botcherby to get away either. So maybe a little bit fortunate there, Austin Harms.
Certainly, especially after saving the penalty kick too. He could have gone from hero to villain as well. Coming down this sideline is Ethan Meyer. He squares it up. Lazy ball. Josh Hunter with the shot. SF City's able to clear their lines. Only to Max Murner, though, and he's dispossessed Junior Larte. Mitchell Scott. Just coming up on 5 minutes to go before halftime. Game is settled into a little bit of a rhythm here now. You just see SF City trying to get the ball in the final third. BYU's fine, picking up some lazy balls within the SF City midfield and moving forward from there as well. Now, SF City needs to be a little sturdier in that realm. Bubba Kelly goes up for a header, but Connor Fordham wins it first. Chested down by Jake Miles. Although one back by Watson, and so too, there's Hyman. This is Bounce. Murner. Jordan Hughes now for SF City. Trying to play in McCabe down the right side. McCabe's service comes off the head of Max Murner. Second ball. Jake Miles is there, though. As you said, Jake Miles doing a lot of the work for BYU. Vasconcelos on the break, looking for Butcherby. Hyman, a lot of space to run in front. Pulls it back and gives away possession. And Kevin Gould is right there for SF City.
And just in the way that BYU started a little bit timid and grew into this game, City have sort of done the reverse, Charles. They're starting to be a little bit sloppy, starting to give the ball away. That's something they don't want to do. They're diving in again, and another chance here for BYU.
Butcherby, and a great tackle by Jordan Hughes on Jake Miles, because Jake Miles was through on goal, and Jordan Hughes tracked the run there, and it's out for a corner kick. One of the best defensive moves I've seen of this game thus far.
Well, City are just looking for the halftime whistle at this point. You can see another chance coming in there. Jordan Hughes getting back. He does well here not to go to ground, Jordan Hughes. He could have slid in there. We've seen them do it a couple of times, but he stayed big, stayed on his feet, and saw out the danger. But City are really under pressure now, and they've really lost their rhythm in midfield. They're starting to give balls away. BYU are on top. They've had a penalty chance. City are going to want to get to halftime with the score only 1-0.
This is Jake Miles, threads the ball in, and that was almost laid on a platter. But Connor Fordham with the follow-up shot there. Going to be a goal kick now. SF City looking to reset. And as you said, they definitely are looking for the halftime whistle, as BYU is really coming with a lot of pressure, winning a lot of balls in central midfield. And also SF City making some mistakes and giving away the ball to BYU. BYU's been sturdy at the back. There's been some space for SF City to run and have their fair share of chances, but they still have not had that cutting edge tonight that BYU actually has had so far within the final third. That final ball, that final penetrative pass, Vasconcelos is the guy that does that. This is Pemberton. And now Hunter. Headed away by Edwards. And now Bounce. Almost saved by Vasconcelos. Well, I'll be curious to know what kind of changes head coach Paddy Coyne's going to make at the break, because this team kind of dull, and they need to sharpen their pencil a little bit if they're going to try to get the result today, almost like England in their first half today, as you were speaking about, against the Welsh.
Yeah, it's not working, to be fair, Charles. I mean, we saw in that England game, Roy Hodgson was very bold in his substitutions. He really went for it, brought on 2 attacking players. I don't think Paddy Coyne will do the same, because, you know, he's 1 goal down, but he knows this unit are very dangerous on the break. We can see another chance, maybe breaking forward here. BYU is just defended away. But it hasn't worked. I mean, let's be honest, this system for City that they've set up, they've kind of come with a similar formation to BYU, and BYU are beating them at their own game. City are not able to settle. They don't look fluid in midfield. They haven't really created many chances apart from Bubba Kelly's effort, which was a very good one, perhaps unfortunate not to score there. But certainly you would say BYU have been by far the better team. So interesting to see what Sean Marsden and Paddy Coyne have to say to the team at halftime. I just saw them down there on the touchline gesticulating, you know, talking about these 3 lines and how they're perhaps not gelling as they want. Let's see what changes they make at halftime.
Bounce now trying to switch the field. Looking for Edwards on the left, popping up there. Now Jordan Hughes, just 3 minutes of added time by the 4th official. Harry McCabe. And Hyman switches the field nicely. McCabe looking for Hyman. He's in. Hyman with the shot on goal. And Hyman with a lovely curling run for SF City from the left to the right.
Yeah, very good run there by Hyman. Excellent first touch. Took it past the defender, got himself space to shoot. He was wide. He was having to go across the goalkeeper, maybe hoping the keeper would spill it in front of his man. We can see the replay here. Lovely touch by Hyman going around the outside of the defender. It's a good, strong shot, but I have to say that Brendan Ottman does very well there. Just makes sure that the ball doesn't spill back out across goal because the attackers were waiting. A good chance for City, but unfortunately unsuccessful on this occasion.
Ottman hasn't had a great deal to do today. Austin Harms, definitely the busier of the two keepers, including saving that penalty, which could be key. We'll have to see. No shortage of penalties in the games between these two. SF City won 2 penalties in Provo in the second game against the two sides over Memorial Day weekend just 2 weekends ago. Merlin Baust scoring both of those. This is Josh Hunter now, onto his favored left foot, now back onto his right. Josh Hunter weaving his way through. SF City breathes a sigh of relief as the clock is continuing to run just before halftime. It definitely looked like they want to get into that locker room. They seem a bit shocked from the goal, too. They seem like they weren't seeing that coming either. You can see it in the energy level of the players, and you can kind of see it in their character. This is Hyman trying to take the initiative. Over to the left side, he finds Bobby Edwards. Can he get a good first touch? Yes, he can. Bobby Edwards! And he wins a corner kick. It'll be the first corner kick for SF City in this first half in added time. BYU's already won 4 corner kicks, and this is the first one for SF City. So, nice run by Edwards. He takes it himself. Bobby Edwards floats it in, headed away by Fordham. Vasconcelos away too. Not a lot of time left. They got to get this one in. McCabe chested down by Murner, off for Gould on the right side. And looks like it's going to be another corner kick, or rather, it was marshaled out by Mitchell Scott. Oh, this is a first half I thought that was going to be pretty cagey indeed, but certainly not that way whatsoever.
Yeah, it was brighter stuff from City towards the end of this first half. What I liked about that pass down to Edwards on this side, it was the first time I think City had put a ball in front of the man. They played a lot of passes that have just caused the man to check back. They haven't really managed to put the men in with nice passes that get them behind the defense. They did it there. It worked well. Unfortunately, the corner couldn't beat the first man, but better stuff from City at the end of that first half.
Well, at the halftime break, it is a wonder strike, which separates the two teams. We're going to go down to Shelly Alingus, the third member of our broadcast team, with BYU coach Brandon Gillum.
What a great start to the match. How are you feeling right now?
It's a nice start. There's good tempo to the game, and we were able to put one away. So right now we're feeling pretty good.
So what's it going to take to maintain the lead?
To maintain the lead, we just got to stay defensively organized. There's going to be a lot of pressure on their side, obviously, to get that one back. And so staying organized, but also pushing for the next one. Right? We can't be comfortable. Being comfortable at 1-0 is not comfortable at all. So pushing for more is what's going to allow us to keep it.
Thanks so much, Coach. See you in the second half. Back to you, Charles and Mike.
Thank you very much, Shelly. Shelly with Brandon Gillum, the head coach of BYU. He was actually late to this game. He left some of the player cards in the hotel before, which I thought was kind of interesting. And Steve Magleby, his co-coach, and they used to play together when they played for this BYU team as well. So it is a wonder strike goal by Ethan Meyer at the break. The halftime score: SF City 0, BYU 1.
it's really hard to get that recognition.
There aren't many places where nonprofits are being recognized.
We have such a great community. We have so many intelligent, amazing leaders. There's organizations popping up all the time who are doing incredible and innovative things.
Something like Classy and the Collaborative and the awards ceremony, it just really platforms the good work that's being done. I would definitely tell other organizations to apply for the nomination, to engage with what Classy is doing through the awards ceremony and through the collaborative.
I would definitely encourage any organizations out there interested in applying to go through the process. It's helpful for your own thinking internally. What are you putting out there? What does research show?
They benefit from that experience by receiving the recognition they deserve for, the work that they're doing. And also discovering ways that they can improve the way that they're impacting the world. It shifts the paradigm on what organizations should be and could be.
I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm proud to be in front of all you folks who put service above self and make a difference in the world.
Among all of these great organizations that are doing such important work trying to solve the world's toughest challenges.
Wow, this is amazing. Being here tonight in this room with so many distinguished nonprofit pioneers has been a humbling experience.
And tonight's batch is the creme de la creme of those groups.
Okay, the tears can start right here, so be careful.
Goodness gracious, what an honor to receive an award like this in a room full of such greatness.
What this award really is about for our organization is a group of people that really said, it's not good enough anymore.
And the classic goes to...
And the classy goes to...
The classy goes to...
The classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
When we bought our new Outback from Putnam Subaru of Burlingame and San Francisco, we experienced more. Experience more with Putnam Subaru of Burlingame and San Francisco.
I was one of those guys who didn't think the Army had anything for me. Then I found out that less than 0.1% of all Americans wear the uniform of an Army officer. It's a small group of us, but we're among the most highly educated compared to many other corporations or institutions. I was surprised at what I found in being an officer, and at what the Army helped bring out of me. I'm Major Miles B. Caggins III, Officer, United States Army.
Find a stronger future as an officer at goarmy.com/officer. There's strong, then there's Army strong.
The Putnam family is celebrating 50 years of service in the Bay Area. From the nation's top brands with thousands of cars to choose from, the best certified pre-owned vehicles, the Putnam Dealership Group delivers. Test drive in the open space of the peninsula. After 50 years, our overhead is so low, we're passing the savings on to you. Our customers love us, and it shows with our online reviews. Make your next stop at the Putnam Auto Mall on California Drive in Burlingame.
It's really hard to get that recognition.
There aren't many places where nonprofits are being recognized.
We We have such a great community. We have so many intelligent, amazing leaders. There's organizations popping up all the time who are doing incredible and innovative things.
Something like Classy and the Collaborative and the awards ceremony, it just really platforms the good work that's being done. I would definitely tell other organizations to apply for the nomination, to engage with what Classy is doing through the awards ceremony and through the collaborative.
I would definitely encourage any organizations out there interested in applying to go through the process. It's helpful for your own thinking internally. What are you putting out there? What does research show?
They benefit from that experience by receiving the recognition they deserve for, the work that they're doing, and also discovering ways that they can improve the way that they're impacting the world. It shifts the paradigm on what organizations should be and could be.
I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm proud to be in front of all you folks who put service above self and make a difference in the world.
Among all of these great organizations that are doing such important work trying to solve the world's toughest challenges.
Wow, this is amazing.
Being here tonight in this room with so many distinguished nonprofit pioneers has been a humbling experience.
And tonight's batch is the creme de la creme of those groups.
Okay, the cry, the tears can start right here, so be careful.
Goodness gracious, what an honor to receive an award like this in a room full of such greatness.
What this award really is about for our organization is a group of people that really said, it's not good enough anymore.
And the classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
The classy goes to...
The classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
And the classy goes to...
Listen up. Out on that field today, you will be ready for anything. And I want you to always remember, this is the greatest team you will ever be part of.
There's important work to be done. And only some able to do it. Can you make the cut?
Welcome back to Kezar Stadium here in San Francisco, and at halftime, it's SF City FC 0, BYU 1, courtesy of a great goal from Ethan Meyer. We're going to take you to the first half highlights, and my co-broadcaster Mike Geddes will take us through the highlights in the first half.
Yeah, and it was a cagey start by BYU, but they really grew into the game, and that was aided by the fact that City were really looking a little bit lackluster compared to the last game. They've had a lot of joy in that left-hand side channel with Hunter. Early shot here, which Harms does well to palm over the top. A couple of other chances they had. The shot there on the turn by Vasconcelos, Austin Harms doing well again. But and then, yeah, the other end, then it was Bubba Kelly with the best chance. Played in with a nice ball by Watson. You can see Bubba Kelly, he thinks that's going in. He's starting to celebrate before the ball comes back off the post. He's unlucky not to put the rebound in. And then really the highlight of that first half, this is really something that I made a speciality of on the Sunday League playing fields, Charles, cutting in field on the right foot. And what a goal this is by Austin Meyer, or Ethan Meyer, I beg your pardon, looks up, he sees the top corner. It's an absolute peach, and Austin Harms, who had a good game dealing with a couple of challenges, could do nothing about that. You can see the absolute delight on the face there of Ethan Meyer. He's going to be talking about this one for a long, long time. He'll be bragging about it for months. At the other end, Hyman had the really good chance just before halftime. For the first time, SF City able to unlock the defense. Hyman getting in, shooting across the goalkeeper, but unable to turn that into the net.
Well, we're counting down to the beginning of the second half here at Kezar. What kind of changes do you think Patty Coyne needs to specifically make to the SF City squad at half for this next 45 minutes,
Well,
down 1-0.
Well, the main thing I think he needs to do, Charles, is give them what Manchester United used to refer to as the hairdryer treatment. That's when Alex Ferguson would get the players in at half-time and give them an absolute roasting if they weren't on their game, if they weren't passing sharply or closing them down. And for me, it feels like City have been a little bit flat tonight. And if I was Paddy Coyne, I'd be saying, guys, we're at home. This should be us dominating, dictating the play. We shouldn't be sitting back and allowing BYU to dictate how this game's going to go. They're still looking for that first elusive home win. They've got this incredible support out tonight. Don't forget, we're up against the USA-Ecuador game. We're up against the Warriors, and still these fans have come out to watch SF City, and how we would like them to witness that first win here at Kezar. And Paddy Coyne really needs to instill that into his players. You're playing for this fantastic support, for this city. I want to see more. I want to see more, better passing. But, you know, another thing we have to say is that system in the first half, it probably didn't work. So Paddy Coyne and Sean Marsden, they're going to have to do something a little bit different. I'd like to see Myrna get more involved. Hyman's been busy. Bubba Kelly has been quite anonymous in this first half. I mean, the contrast with the other week when we were talking about Bubba Kelly, every other second, he hasn't had as much of the ball. Let's see if they can get him more involved in the second 45.
Well, we will be right back with the second half right after this quick break.
When we bought our new Outback from Putnam Subaru of Burlingame in San Francisco, we experienced more. Experience more with Putnam Subaru of Burlingame in San Francisco.
Players getting set for the second half of action here at Kezar Stadium. It's still wonderful weather outside, perfect playing surface, some clouds in the sky, but no worries. Now we're going to go down to Shelly Alingus, who's with Paddy Coyne.
All right.
So disappointing first half. What are your thoughts right now?
We're just not bringing the intensity they're bringing. We're a bit asleep. Second balls we're not getting on the end of. They just brought more energy than us first half.
What's the team need to do to break through BYU's defense?
Wake up and get with the game. Tactically, we haven't quite hit our stride yet either, so hopefully second half now we'll turn it around.
Well, thanks so much, Coach. See you on the field. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you so much, Shelly. And it's going to be a big time and a big test for SF City FC. They're going to have to play from behind again for the third time in 10 days. They lost the home opener here to Las Vegas, where they outplayed the Las Vegas Mobsters and Vegas scored 2 goals on counterattacks off set pieces, and they tied San Diego Zest on Sunday as well. So this is going to be a huge test. No changes yet in the squad at halftime. And we're coming up here on the beginning of the second half as Austin Harms and DeLuna talking to the rest of the squad there. BYU will kick off this second half from the right to the left.
I think it's worth remembering, Charles, that actually, you know, City are disappointed as going at the half a goal down, but it could have been much, much worse. I mean, don't forget that Austin Harms had that fantastic penalty save from Pedro Vasconcelos. As you can see, Edwards trying to get down the side there. And also, I think that Austin Harms also was very fortunate to escape with only a talking to by the referee because of that challenge on Ryan Botcherby. And actually at half-time, Botcherby went straight over to the referee, and you could see him asking the referee, how could you not give a foul there? Because Harms came out with the leg raised and really clattered him. It was quite a reckless challenge by Harms, given that we'd just seen Barry McCabe concede a penalty for a high foot. So, 1-0 down, they'll be a little bit disappointed, but could have been far, far worse, and maybe that's a chance for them to build on.
Ball stolen away in the back as SF City with a little bit of high pressure. Ryan Botcherby holding up possession for BYU. Throwing the ball away too. Tricky, he may have not gotten a yellow card there if it didn't go right to the hands of McCabe. McCabe to reset for SF City FC. Now this is Merlin Bouse. McCabe looking for Murner. Kelly over the top. He's got Ashley Watson headed on to Hyman. Got space on his left foot. Hyman! Oh, and it's a fantastic save by Brandon Ottman.
Yeah, really good attacking play from City. It was a lovely little cushioned header from Watson. He just knew where Hyman was. He flicked the ball over the top of the defender. Hyman set himself. Good shot, but a very good save by Brendan Ottman. You can see here, comes back onto the right, and it's a very good save. Strong arms by Brendan Ottman, but good start to the second half by City.
Ashley Watson, and the header goes over by Kevin Gould there. And a nice couple opportunities there for SF City FC.
And just looking at the way that City have set up in this second half, Charles, it looks like they've moved to more of a flat four across the midfield. It looks like Bobber Kelly is in more of a wide midfield position or on the right side of midfield rather than on the right side of a front three. So interesting to see if that's something Paddy Coyne and Sean Marsden have identified in this second half as a way of quietening down these BYU attacks and looking to get more opportunities for the home side.
Well, free kick here to BYU, and we're coming up here on the 49th minute of action. And on Sunday, tragically, 49 people lost their lives in Orlando in a gay nightclub. And SF City had a moment of silence on Sunday for those that lost their lives. But we think and we believe that we should read the names to you to honor them and remember them. Amanda Olivier at 25 years old. Oscar A. Arancea Montero at 26 years old. Rodolfo Ayala, 33 years old. Antonio Devon Brown at 29 years old. Daryl Roman Burt, 29. Angel Caliderio Pedro, 28 years old. Juan Chavez Martinez, 25 years old. Luis Daniel Conde, 39 years old. Corey James Connell, 21 years old. Tevin Eugene Crosby, 25 years old. Dakona Drayton, 32 years old. Simon Adrian Carrillo Fernandez, 31 years old. Leroy Valentin Fernandez, 25 years old. Mercedes Marisol Flores at 26 years old. Peter O. Gonzalez Cruz, 22 years old. Juan Roman Guerrero, 22 years old. Paul Terrell Henry, 41 years old. Frank Hernandez, 27 years old. Miguel Angel Jorano, 30 years old. Jason Benjamin, Eddie Justice, Anthony Luis Lore Londisla, 25 years old. Christopher Andrew Leanon, Gilberto Ramon Silver Menendez, 25 years old. Kimberly Morris, 37 years old. Akira Monet Murray, just 18 years old. Luis Omar Ocasio Capo, 20 years old. Gerardo A. Ortiz Jimenez, 25 years old. Eric Ivan Ortiz Rivera, 36 years old. Joel Rayon Panigua, 32 years old. Jean Carlos Mendez Perez, 35 years old. Enrico L. Rios Jr., 25 years old. Jean C. Neves Rodriguez, 27 years old. Xavier Emmanuel Serrano Rosado, 35 years old. Christopher Joseph Sanfeliz, 24 years old. Yilmeri Rodriguez Sullivan, 24 years old. Edward Sotomayor, 34 years old. Shane Evan Tomlinson, 33 years old. Martin Benitez Torres, 33 years old. Jonathan Antonio Camoy Vega, 24 years old. Juan P. Rivera Velasquez, 37 years old. Luis S. Vielma, 27 years old. Frankie Jimmy Jesus, Gerardo Arthur Wright, 31 years old. We remember them. They are in our hearts. And no matter where you are and who you are, this tragedy has affected every single one of us. And it's important to discuss this and chat about it and draw attention to this and not be immune to what happened on Sunday. And it's important to remember that each of us bears the imprint of a friend left along the way, in each a trace of each. So we remember the 49 here. And we want to thank you very much for listening to our tribute to the 49. Altman now out, down the sideline, and away by DeLuna, brought down by Hyman, who had that chance moments ago. And now this is Bouse for SF City FC. Ashley Watson. And now Bobby Edwards, and Ottman is there. Down the sideline, Josh Hunter for BYU on the left side, and marshaled away by Bubba Kelly for SF City FC. Connor Fordham looking to switch the field and playing in goalkeeper Ottman. Kelly for DeLuna now. Edwards down this left side. He's been coming more and more into this game down that left side. Bobby Edwards. On the ground. This is the goal scorer, Meyer. Vasconcelos. Now Hughes, a great ball to the left for Hyman, closed down by Larte. Larte in the corner, Hyman in the corner too, and it's going to be a deep, deep throw there for BYU. The pressure was on by Hyman.
They look a little bit sharper at the start of the second half, Charles. I'm sure that they've still got Paddy Coyne's halftime team talk ringing in their ears. I just encourage them to be a little bit higher pressing on BYU. And they have looked a little bit sharper, San Francisco City. They have looked a little bit better with this formation where they're pulling a little bit wide, a little bit more men strung across the midfield. Hughes sitting in front of the back four, and then it's almost a midfield four behind Max Murner. But I would like to see them getting Bubba Kelly on the ball a little bit more. He has been pretty quiet. He's had the odd chance, a great chance in the first half, but compared to the last time out against San Diego, they seem to have barely been able to get him on the ball in those positions behind the fullback. So interesting to see whether he's got the chance to come more into the game in this second half and start dictating the play in the way that we know that he can.
It looks like the wind is starting to set in a little bit because that barely hit through the center channel there. Lovely ball by Ashley Watson. He's looking for Bubba Kelly. As the lights start to come on here at Kezar Stadium. Kelly, and now finds Baus, plays Murner in, and he's just offside there. Good build-up by SF City FC, though.
Yeah, it's better. It's better. There's a little bit more life in them. I would like to see Merlin Baus be a little bit more present in that midfield. You mentioned maybe slightly Rusty Charles coming back into the game after a knock. I would like to see him a little bit more visible, a little bit more eager to come and get the ball and use it wisely in possession. But that was better, and it was, of course, the Kelly, Murner, Watson group that performed so well against San Diego. They're popping the passes around, and unfortunately, Murner just offside from the pass. But a better start in this second period for City.
Well, he's come up a little gingerly there, Merlin Baus, after he took a little bit of a spill. And here comes BYU through Josh Hunter. Throw in for BYU just in front of their bench. This is Hyman, who had a nice effort saved by Altman earlier in the half. He's been terrific. Jordan Hughes wanted to have advantage played, but the referee signals on the ground. Appears that Danny Kirkland will enter the fray for SF City FC shortly, and BYU will also make a change as well.
Yeah, red card there was shown to Tanner Whitworth for that foul. City trying to use the ball from the free kick, but not really making the best of that.
We'll reset here to BYU. And it appears that Peyton Pemberton has been withdrawn here and taken his place Tanner Whitworth, brother of Hunter Whitworth. They actually have the brotherly duo on this BYU team, and as well on the BYU women's squad, they've got the same thing too. Now this is Ashley Watson, and Ashley Watson's effort right at Ottman.
I think it's been a good 5 minutes for Ashley Watson, Charles. We were talking in the first half that we'd like to see him use the ball a little bit more carefully, make the good choices. He's been involved in a couple of good moments in this second half. He had the lovely, composed, clever-headed flick onto Hyman that got Hyman in with that shot, and then the charge down the left-hand channel there and got the shot away but couldn't beat Ottman. So really good 5 minutes for Ashley Watson. Very good to see, and he's really been at the heart of most of the good moves from City at the start of the second half.
Danny Kirkland now in the game for SF City FC. As Max Merner was withdrawn, and it looks like Ashley Watson's going up to be a target player in this next phase. We've almost played an hour or so. SF City have been pretty good in this second half. They bothered the goalkeeper with a couple of chances right to him. And Hyman's chance, definitely the best effort of the game for SF City, besides Bubba Kelly hitting the post in the first half.
I quite like this move, Charles. I like to see Ashley Watson in that central midfield or middle of the attacking three position, because I think that what Ashley Watson will do is he'll get the ball down and he'll dribble at the feet of the defenders. And one thing we saw in the first half was that if you're asking Max Merner to go up against Junior Larty, it's really a tough task for Merner there, because Larty is so dominant in the air. I don't think we'll see the same from Ashley Watson. I think we'll see balls into his feet. Watson will look to turn and then run at those defenders and look to get in the channels. We've seen him do it once already, where he got in down the left-hand side and put the shot at the keeper. Let's see if he gets more opportunities playing in this more central striking position.
Throw in for SF City, just around the center line, taken by Bobby Edwards. Now into the feet of Bounce, trying to turn the corner, and he does. Finds Danny Kirkland, getting his first touches in. Danny Kirkland, who played about 10 minutes or so on Sunday, usually a first-team selection in this SF City team. Coming back from some herniated discs. He's been out for about 6 weeks to 2 months. This is Ashley Watson now. Nice chip to the far side. Trevor Hyman on the half volley on that left foot. And nothing given. And DeLuna almost loses out there. Kevin Gould helps him out and plays a lovely ball down the left side in doing so.
Again, Charles, it's Ashley Watson who's making things happen. He got the ball into feet, he turned, and it was a really, really nice ball out to Trevor Hyman. And Hyman, I thought, rushed his cross a little bit. I thought he could have done much better. If you're going to put the ball in low, you've really got to fizz it across and look for either the touch of an attacker or force a mistake from a defender. But again, good attacking play from Watson. He looks like he's doing well in this new, more advanced central role.
Hughes, a lovely ball into the left channel for Hyman, who has gotten on the ball a lot in this second half. Bobby Edwards takes a spill. No call, says the referee. It'll be a throw-in as the wind has just started to pick up here and move from the west to the east. SF City, sponsored by Classy. It's the world's largest fundraising platform for organizations focused on positive social change and a proud partner of the club. Grab an official team jersey at the merchandise tent to support SF City and Classy, and of course online as well for those folks of you that are watching at home. Classy, of course, on the front of the SF City jerseys as the presenting sponsor for SF City FC.
Just looking, Charles, at where Danny Kirkland's playing since coming onto the field. I think what he's going to do is just try and bridge that gap between Jordan Hughes and the attacking players. We saw in the first half that the players like Watson, the players like Merner, come back deep, receive the ball, turn, and then they don't really have many options in front of them. They look for that long diagonal for Bubba Kelly getting in from the right-hand side, but they didn't have many options to play into the feet. And I think that what Danny Kirkland's going to do is allow Jordan Hughes to sit back, sit in front of that back four line, come back, receive the ball. You can see he's calling for the ball in the midfield here, and then allow these attacking players to really get forward and do what they do best. So here's Kirkland picking it up and spraying it wide. I think that's going to help City. I think it's a good move by Paddy Coyne and Sean Marsden. Let's see if it pays dividends.
Yeah, Kirkland, a typical game manager, box-to-box type of midfield player. He's had a storied career as well. I've covered him for about 5 years. He's a trademark on the left free kick as well, can really hit a ball. Played just up the road at the University of San Francisco as well with about 4 of these other SF City players, and really is the heartbeat when he plays in central midfield. He wasn't always fit at USF, and had a phenomenal senior season for USF as well. He graduated in 2015, so his last college season was in 2014, barely missing out on the West Coast Conference playoffs for for USF. And now, firmly now in this SF City team, helped them win a NorCal Premier League championship as well. This is Josh Hunter in the corner. Into the feet of Ryan Botcherby. It's a cross by Fordham, headed away. Off down by Ethan Meyer, who had that strike in the first half, and that's a bit of a miscue there. The goal scorer.
Yeah, truth be told, Charles, that's much more like I used to play on the Sunday League. I'm claiming credit for scoring goals like his first one. It didn't really happen that often. It was much more often that I just skewed it out of play for a throw into the opposition.
Well, speaking of Sunday Leagues, I've got a big semi-final, potentially leading up into a final on Sunday myself. So all of that chatter, of course, Mike, makes me feel good about myself. This is Hughes, and now Edwards playing into the fray. Kirkland down the sideline, looking for Botcherby.
It's much, much better. I've got to say, since Danny Kirkland's come on the field, I've liked the look of City a lot more. He's very busy. He's always coming back to receive the ball. He's allowing Jordan Hughes not to worry about making attacking runs, just to sit there and defend. He's allowing the striking players to get forward more. He was just trying to play there a little 1-2. He looks bright. He looks very, very fit. He got a little bit frustrated there when he didn't get the ball back into him that he wanted. You can just see there a foul coming in. But yeah, I've really liked it since Kirkland's come on. I think it's a smart move. And let's see if he can really galvanize this team now and unlock these attacking opportunities like he's just done down the left-hand side and get City some more attacking options in this game.
Oh, it's going to be a corner kick here to SF City, their second of this half. It's going to be taken by Bobby Edwards. He can definitely put a good ball in. 65th minute now for SF City FC. Kirkland's in there. That's Kevin Gould, and Kevin Gould coming close and just shaving the outside of the post.
Yeah, good effort there by Kevin Gould. He came in and got across the top of his man. Didn't really get a lot of power onto it. It was a decent corner, just dropping in. The keeper wasn't going to come for that one. Kevin Gould, unfortunately, unable to get that one on target. But it's been decent amounts of pressure. I mean, it's been fairly consistent pressure from SF City FC for the last 15 minutes or so. But they really need to turn that into goals. If there's one thing we've seen about this team over the last 2 or 3 games, it's that they can't convert pressure into goals. They make the chances, they just don't put them away. So let's see if they can turn that round now. We've got a little bit over 25 minutes still to play here. It's plenty of time, and I have to say it looks like this new formation in the second half is working. Looks like Paddy Coyne is going to make another substitution. Can see him talking to one of his substitutes down on the halfway line. So they've clearly got a plan for this second half about how they're going to break down this BYU defense. It looks like it's going to be Nick Littleton who comes on. So it's going to be interesting to see what that changes in this attacking lineup. It has been much better for City, and let's see what more plans Paddy Coyne has up his sleeve.
Well, Nick Littleton, who's usually the captain of this squad, he missed the entire game on Sunday with the team, played the entire game on Friday night against Burlingame as well. I think he may have been withdrawn just before time, but he is one of the leaders of this team as well. Coming up on the 67th minute. We've played 2/3 of the game. We're just a third more to go. Out of the back, that's Vasconcelos. Brought down by Fordham. And now Hunter has been popping up on the left and now on the right. Gives the ball away to Hyman for SF City. Here's Hyman. The lovely couple of moves to spray the ball out wide right to Bubba Kelly. That pass lets Bubba down. And now this is Hunter on the counter-attack. On that left foot. Josh Hunter tackled away by Kelly. And both of them square up to one another.
Yeah, he needs to be careful there, Bubba Kelly. He's frustrated because he got into a great position on the right-hand side and gave the ball away. Retaliation there by Hunter, and both players just want to walk away from this one. Let's see if the referee is going to go to his pocket. It was unnecessary from Kelly. I thought it was a good challenge, a fair one. He didn't have to have the little bit of afters. He was definitely frustrated because his touch let him down, and City definitely don't want to go conceding any more yellow cards or getting a player sent off. Paddy Coyne will want to put a lid on this, and good to see the players now shaking hands.
Bubba Kelly still talking with the referee there.
I mean, I think Hunter's unwise to react to that because it was actually a very good challenge by Bubba Kelly. It was definitely strong. Hunter would have felt it, but it was perfectly fair. So good play by Kelly, but he doesn't want to get caught up in retaliation because they certainly don't want to be having players like him getting booked or even sent off.
Bridgman on Barry McCabe. Gould now. And here's Hughes over to the left side for Bobby Edwards, who for me has been terrific tonight with his left wing partner in Hyman, who has also been spectacular today. And here comes Captain Nick Littleton for SF City. And Jordan Hughes is going to be withdrawn. And Littleton has around 22 minutes to make his mark. Very hard-nosed player, Nick Littleton, extremely competitive. Played his college ball at Gonzaga and Santa Barbara City College as well. His dad comes to every match and sits in the Northsiders section. Tottenham Hotspur fan as well. And he's got English roots, too. Harms down the field for Hyman, who heads on. Second ball, though, difficult time handling that. There's going to be a substitution for BYU as Cameron McLaughlin will enter the fray. And we're still waiting for who's going to be withdrawn. It's going to be Ryan Botcherby, the target man. So it's a straight swap. McLaughlin for Botcherby. And Botcherby, for me, has had a good game holding the ball up top, causing some havoc, allowing his two wingers to be able to express themselves and be able to have some sort of chances as well. He's had a couple half chances himself, but I thought his hold-up play was excellent.
Yeah, he's done well, Botcherby. He's led the line well. He's always been a willing runner. He's put himself about. He's caused problems for the centre-halves, and as you say, created chances for the players on either side of him.
This is Hunter now at the end line. Josh Hunter, a little chip, headed away by McCabe. And Hunter's energy level really has been pretty spectacular to watch in the 1v1s that he's had tonight. Vasconcelos a little quieter, but he really took over the show in the beginning of the first half, and now they're really relying on Hunter to be able to initiate their attacking forays.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Charles, you're absolutely right that Vasconcelos has been quite quiet in this second half, and I think that's because City have changed the formation. They've allowed Jordan Hughes, when he was on the field, to sit back much further and just lock up Vasconcelos and cut out some of that space he was getting initially. So the formation change did work in that way. He has been quite quiet in the second half.
We've just got about 20 minutes to go here now, or so. McCabe marshals that out. It'll be a throw in for BYU just in front of their bench. With a personal loan from Freedom Plus, you could score any goal, from paying off credit card debt to financing a home renovation. Flexible terms on fixed-rate loans up to $35,000 are available now. Visit freedomplus.com to get your free no-risk quote. Freedom Plus is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a proud supporter of SF City FC. It appears now that Mambo Flores is in the game for SF City, and Bubba Kelly and Bobby Edwards withdrawn, and Cameron Crowe at the left back spot for Edwards. Mambo Flores, straight swap for Bubba Kelly. And Flores is a player who is very well technically gifted. He was in the starting 11 for SF City in many preseason matches and even started a few games in the first part of the PDL season. Really comfortable on the ball. Extremely exciting player to watch because you always know something's going to happen. Corner kick now to BYU. It's taken by the danger men, Hunter and Vasconcelos. Vasconcelos with a little bit of a chip. And Kirkland trying to get the tackle in. But it's a throw in nevertheless to Hunter. And SF City's able to recover, or rather, it came off an SF City player. So a throw in. And this kind of time in the corner, BYU is happy to have.
Yeah, I think they've taken the sting out of the game a little bit, Charles, over the last 10 minutes or so. City were pretty bright in that kind of second third of the game. They looked quite threatening. They had some chances, and since then it's gone a little bit flat. And I think by BYU have to take some of the credit for that, because they've really squashed this game. They've restricted City's chances. They've dealt with what's been thrown at them. They've played pretty well on the break. That's a slightly naughty challenge. It's going to be another booking, I think.
It appears that Mitchell Scott, I believe, is going to get that yellow card there. For the tackle on Nick Littleton. It was a wonderful flick by Littleton as Watson was running down the right sideline. McCabe now over the ball. Hunter wants him to get on with it. You can see he's jumping up and down. I think he might be able to run 2 games, actually. A ball from the right to the left, intended for Hyman, but brought down by goal scorer Ethan Meyer. And now Junior Larte out of the back. Gifted back to SF City. McCabe with a fantastic roulette over the ball. BYU player is down. I believe it's Jake Miles. I think he's going to be withdrawn too. This is Nick Littleton back to goal. Littleton trying to find Cameron Crowe. Crowe now. He's got Hyman. The cross comes in. It's at the back stick. Mambo Flores. And it's over the end line. Well, coming up in this last 15 minutes or so, SF City kind of had that possession. You said they lost their sting a bit, and it's kind of a similar story to the last game where the score was tied 1-1. They made a host of changes, and then potentially the changes of mixing and matching and morphing to one another could be preventing the team from moving forward and creating some chances. Obviously, you're allowed 6 substitutions in the PDL, but nevertheless, it could be something to think about.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, actually, because I thought the system, when they brought on Kirkland to play in that midfield area and just join up the midfield between Hughes and the attackers further forward, was working pretty well. Personally, if I was going to make a change, I might have been tempted to replace Merlin Baus. I don't think it's really worked for him tonight. He's looked a little bit rusty, maybe coming back from injury, and I maybe would have looked to inject a little bit more dynamism in that midfield, someone who's going to get the ball down and run at defenders or give them a different kind of problem to deal with. So, as you say, Charles, it can be a little bit unsettling when you make so many changes and the team is not sure, which system are we playing in, how quickly is it going to take to settle down. And I definitely think that City, they need to inject a bit more urgency. I mean, I think think they should go for it. Why not? They're 1-0 down. There's about 15 minutes to go. I think if they lose this game, then it starts to look like a little bit of a disappointing season. Win it, and they're definitely on the upward track. So I think that they should really throw a little bit more caution to the wind. I mean, we talked about bringing on Littleton to kind of be that combative presence in the midfield and drive the team forward. Let's see if he can do that, because I think they do need to be a bit more direct, throw a little bit more caution to the wind, because they're in front of this home support looking for that first win, and I think this crowd deserves to see them really go for the game.
Well, Kirkland's upended. It's going to be a free kick opportunity. He's pushing Gould up the field, his former college teammate, as well as DeLuna. Going to send everybody up into the area. There's only one challenging the ball for BYU, and that's Cameron McLaughlin. Kirkland, it's a great ball. It's headed away by BYU. McLaughlin did have some time to turn and maybe get something going on the counterattack. Bouse now out of the back. Lots of shouting on the field. Well, this is the point where BYU certainly needs to see the game through at this point. And SF City got to attack and try to carve out a couple opportunities for themselves, see what they can find. It's been a little difficult in this last 10 to 15 minutes. BYU has certainly kind of numbed this game off.
Yeah, we talked to their coaches before the game, and they talked about their style being quite controlled, about wanting to boss games and really lock up the defense, and they've done that pretty well. They scored a goal, an absolutely wonderful goal, and they've been pretty effective, I have to say, at just containing SF City and really flattening the game. And a lot of times throughout this game, BYU have looked like the home team. Such has been their ability to control play. I think City had that really good half-an-hour period just after the break, or just before the break. They looked a little bit more threatening, but they haven't been able to find that way through, and maybe that just preys on their mind a little bit. The chances go begging, they're not converting them, and maybe their heads drop a bit. Let's see what they can do from this cross.
Kirkland's service, it's a nice service. DeLuna almost got his head to it. Brought down by McCabe. He does elect to keep it in play rather than have the throw-in. And Watson, who slips, still up on his feet. Ashley Watson doing a great job of holding up Mitchell Scott.
Yeah, terrific play there by Mitchell Scott. He just wouldn't give Ashley Watson time to turn because he knows what Ashley Watson can do.
Kevin Gould up there as a secondary striker, and the shot came in by Hyman, takes it to another deflection, another corner kick here to SF City FC. Kirkland racing over to the corner flag as well, realizing there's not a lot of time left.
Yeah, Danny Kirkland looks hungry to get his hands on any kind of set piece or free kick, and his delivery's been very good. Let's see what he can produce here.
Kirkland, it's going to be on the left foot. It's an outswinger. He's got Ashley Watson in there, as well as Gould, DeLuna, Bouse, Nick Littleton too. Kirkland, and punched away by Altman. Back into the fray, ping-ponging around. Almost like a pinball machine. I haven't used one in a while, but that's what it looks like. DeLuna now with possession. Just around 10 minutes to go plus stoppage time. He looks up, he plays over to his right. And too much for Barry McCabe. Ashley Watson now popping up on the right. Quick throw in, trying to find Nick Littleton. Mambo Flores is there instead. First time cross, he wins a corner for SF City.
Yeah, good pressure. It's building now for SF City. They need to keep that pressure on. They need to keep winning the corners, making the chances. They've got Kirkland on the field now. He's clearly wanting to take every single set piece, and he's putting on some pretty good deliveries. It's going to be a different option this time. Let's see if City can make one of these chances count in the last 10.
Danny Kirkland, he was going for the near post. He is capable of that. That would have been spectacular indeed. raises both of his hands. He's got Mambo Flores at the near post. Danny Kirkland at the far post. Punch away again by Ottman. I just got to say, Ottman has been terrific being able to tend his net there. Now, Cameron Crowe with a chip. Oh, it's Nick Littleton with a great opportunity on the half volley. And it just goes to the outside of the right post.
Yeah, unlucky there, Littleton. Great technique. It's a really good run by Cameron Crowe and a very clever flick up. It's an awkward angle for Nick Littleton, but what technique there to get his body almost horizontal and just aim the scissor kick at goal, and unlucky to see it go wide. But you feel like it's building for City. One thing I'd like to see no more substitutions as we see that fantastic technique from Littleton, absolutely perfect, and just couldn't get it on target. I was just about to say, Charles, I'd like to see no more substitutions for City. Paddy Coyne, he's changed the formation. It's working much better. He's got the players on the field now, so let's let them get on with it. Let them see, really see if they can take this game by the scruff of the neck, because that's what we want to see here at Kezar Stadium. We want to see San Francisco City FC dominating teams, having that character to come from behind and win, and let's see if the players that are on the field now can do it for City.
This is Vasconcelos. And now into the feet of Tanner Whitworth, the substitute. Whitworth, head up at goal. Elects to go to the right for Meyer. Meyer's cross headed away by Kevin Gould. SF City needs to tighten up in the back, otherwise they're going to concede another goal from this BYU possession. Credit to BYU for maintaining possession in the SF City half. Now Nick Littleton. Bounce with the ball over the top for Ashley Watson. Now 1v1 isolated. Ashley Watson! And his shot dipping and curving from the right to the left. And it's another corner kick for SS City FC.
Yeah, again, it's good building play through the midfield. Ashley Watson again getting the ball down, able to come inside, hit the ball with his left foot. Nice play to get away from the defender there. Strikes it decently, just takes a deflection almost as soon as he hits it. But another corner now that Kirkland's going to take for City.
Kirkland's corner into the mix, headed away, I believe, by Junior Larte. Kirkland's ball once again cleared away. And as you had talked about, that defensive line for BYU, so sturdy and solid. And now Merlin Bouse, hard to break down as well. SF City just looking for that moment of magic here to be able to score a goal. It's going to be a substitution here for BYU. And it's Jaden Wagoner who will enter the fray for Josh Hunter, who has really electrified tonight in San Francisco. Jaden Wagoner on the field now for Hunter, who pulls the strings from that left side. So effective at pulling an outside back to give him attention, and he's had a couple of chances tonight. He isn't the goal scorer for BYU. He's the leading goal scorer, but has had a good night tonight.
Yeah, he's been very impressive, Josh Hunter. He's been a threat. He's worked really, really hard. He's always looked to get on the shoulder of the defenders. He gave Barry McCabe a lot of problems in the first half, had a couple of chances, faded a little bit in the second half, or certainly in that period of sustained City pressure that sort of came just before and after the break, but a really good shift for him this evening.
Danny Kirkland with the header away, but kept in by BYU. It's going to be a throw-in for SF City, just in front of the Northsiders. Sure, there's going to be plenty of stoppage time too, but just around 5 minutes of normal play. And ball almost gifted away. Kevin Gould has to clean up there. A bit of a sloppy ball. Ball in the corner. It's going to be a throw-in for BYU, and this is just the kind of thing that you want. Or rather, they took their quick throw-in. Oh, and a shot comes in by the substitute, Cameron McLaughlin. BYU looking threatening here. Harms is there. And BYU could have been up 2-0. And McCabe is fouled. SF City wanted a restart with a bit of an advantage. Danny Kirkland on the ground. It's a ball intended for McCabe. Here's Kevin Gould, though, and he's fouled by Jake Miles. Might be a booking for Miles.
It's pretty tasty out there, Charles. There's been some fairly robust challenges all the way through this game. I don't think it's been a dirty game, but it's definitely been certainly a strong one. We've seen the penalty, obviously, for high foot. I don't believe that there was any malice in that award that Barry McCabe gave away. And then we saw the one controversial incident at the end of the first half where Austin Harms left a foot in on Hutcheby. And there you can see some of the players just having a little bit of afters after these challenges. It's very tough. This BYU team is physical. You can't boss them around. They're very, very strong, and it's definitely getting a little bit spicy as we come towards the end of the game.
Kirkland, it's a great ball in. It's headed away by the BYU defense. And now McCabe playing into the fray. Crow on his left foot. Cameron Crow, a substitute. And a handball has been called, I think. And Crow knew it. Both his parents are in the crowd tonight. Kevin Crow, the technical director of Ballistic United, played for the U.S. men's national team during the Olympics. He plays at USF now. Crow, a bit of a family legacy in soccer. And looks like there's a melee in the box, pushing and shoving. As the referees are trying to get a hold of this game. 88th minute. And the referees hopefully will sort it out. Kevin Gould, his finger pointed.
And to be honest, Charles, Christian DeLuna needs to come in here and calm this down. He's the captain. He was involved in that flashpoint, but he needs to be the one coming in and telling his players, look, we don't want to compound the misery if it is going to be a 1-0 defeat by getting any silly red cards. It'd be interesting to see on the replay what happened there. It looked like it happened off the ball after the referee had blown his whistle. As we were just talking about the game getting pretty physical, and now it seems to have boiled over a little bit to the wrong side of the legal. So interested to see what happens in this flashpoint. It's DeLuna involved, and the BYU player just taking exception there to DeLuna, but there's no need, Charles, for the players to come running in like this. I mean, look at them, they're all getting in the face, the referee's right in the middle of it. You shouldn't see your captain kind of getting involved like that. He should be the one calming things down. You can see his colleagues are coming in there getting involved, and we don't want to see this game descend into a frenzy of cards.
Well, there has been a red card presented in this match. I think there's going to be another straight red card issued in this to DeLuna as well for retaliating with an elbow, which is unfortunate. And you never like to see this in any sort of game. I get the tensions are high. I understand that it almost seems like it's a Premiership relegation six-pointer with both teams at the bottom of the table looking for the 3 points, rather. We can have a chuckle about that one, but you never like to see that at all in this game. The ugly part has kind of reared its head. Now, both teams playing with 10 men each. DeLuna sent off. And
it's Tanner Whitworth. So I gave him a red earlier on in the game, Charles. I was a little bit previous. I said he had a red when he got a yellow. I was just looking into the future with that amazing prescience that I possess to see that he was going to get sent off in this game. So a yellow earlier on, a straight red now. And yeah, it's a shame to see. And I think it just shows these City players have got a little bit frustrated. They've worked hard, but this BYU team, terrifically well organized. We're just seeing here what it is that's caused the sending off. Can see the player go to ground. He's clutching his throat or his face. The BYU players very, very agitated there. They clearly weren't happy in the referee taking action.
Well, 6 minutes of added time now, and why not? So many substitutions for both teams this evening. It's been marred by these 2 red cards It's been a brilliant game, actually, and fun to call.
It has, and if it is that one goal that decides this game, then, you know, what a fantastic goal it was to see Ethan Meyer on the right foot. It was a goal that would have graced any stadium, let alone Kezar. Absolutely fantastic strike, and if you do have to lose, I guess it's better to lose to a moment of magic like that.
Well, does City have anything in the tank? Might they just steal a point here is the question. Who knows? Quite a few minutes left. Kirkland over the top, looking for Mambo Flores. Away by the BYU rear guard. If you're a BYU fan, you're probably chewing on your fingernails all up and down this broadcast. If you're an SF City fan, you certainly just want to see that clock just gently tick like it's moving through molasses. And a BYU player now on the deck. Ashley Watson going to be giving a yellow card here. And a substitution coming up for BYU in just a second, as Christian Guthrie will be introduced. As a BYU player still on the ground, and I wonder if the referee stopped his watch here at all.
Yeah, it was the challenge with Ashley Watson. It looked fairly innocuous. It didn't look like it was deserving, and I'm sure that was in the mind of the BYU player. Let's just stay down a few extra seconds. Let's let that clock tick over. Let these City players get a bit more frustrated. Let my team have a breather and just try and see out the final couple of minutes of added time.
Well, substitution here. It's Jake Miles, who's covered a lot of miles. Yes, pun intended there. And he's substituted by Christian Guthrie. And BYU, as you said, just needs to see the game through and not give up any cracks in their rear guard, which they've been so good at.
Yeah, I've been impressed by Jake Miles. He's had a really good game. He's been bright. He's covered that sort of like box-to-box position. He's been back in defense. He's looked good in attack. He's had a couple of half chances. He's never really carved out a very clear opening, but a bright performance by him. You can be quite satisfied with this evening's work.
Oh, this is Nick Littleton now, breaking down his right foot. Cameron Crowe swerving that ball into the fray. Corner kick now.
Oh, wouldn't you just love it for City to get an equaliser here? The keeper's coming up. Austin Harms is up out of his goal. They've taken it short. So if this doesn't come in, Austin Harms is a long way out. And they really made a mess of it, to be honest.
Well, not a lot of time left. Bouse with possession for SF City. Back to Austin Harms. We've got about 2.5 minutes to go here in stoppage time. Maybe even another minute added on for the yellow card. This is Ashley Watson. Oh, and Ashley Watson over the bar for SF City. He had a chance to equalize for San Francisco, and it's over the bar, inside the 6.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, Charles, maybe that was it. That may have been the last chance for City to equalize in this game. It looked like a great opportunity for Ashley Watson. The ball came down, and I thought he really should have hit the target there, but just unable to put it on frame.
And my goodness, SF City extremely unlucky thus far in their home games. They just have been behind every single game for the last 10 days. 3 games in the last 10 days, and they've been behind. This is Hyman. Onto his right foot, Hyman with the cross, looking for Barry McCabe. Cleared away again. Gould rushing over to try to keep possession. Now McCabe. And now Watson trying to weave his way through. Did get through 2 players. Just around 1 minute to go now. It's got to be now or never with the roll of the dice. Barry McCabe down the right sideline. And now Gould. Watson still working very hard for SF City. Now Danny Kirkland. Can he pick out a pass? Danny Kirkland with his shot. Speculative. But you never know what's going to happen when Danny Kirkland picks up the ball. Fresh back from injury, but why not?
Yeah, we're going to see the chance here for Watson. He does ever so well to chest that over the defender, and he's really got to hit the target from there. Watson's been very, very good, very bright tonight, Charles. Probably my pick of the San Francisco City FC players, but really should have done better with that. He should have put that on target. Maybe that's the one chance more.
Well, both of these two teams have such similar stories as well in terms of how they've had their seasons, especially if BYU ends up getting the result here. SF City got a result at Southfield just 2 weeks ago. They both started the season very brightly at the same time, and that is the full-time whistle here at Kezar Stadium. BYU comes into San Francisco and is able to nick a victory here. It was a terrific goal by Ethan Meyer, certainly deserving potentially of a PDL goal of the week, PDL goal of the month, or maybe a contender for later in the year. A terrific strike, and credit to where credit is due. BYU were well organized in the back. SF City had a tough time being able to bother Brennan Ottman. They had stretches of play, but they still have a difficult time getting 3 points at home here on the year at Kezar Stadium. So we'll be right back with the highlights. We've got a lot of those to show you. It was a terrific game. Only one goal in it, but we'll be right back after this.
I was one of those guys who didn't think the Army had anything for me. Then I found out that less than 0.1% of all Americans wear the uniform of an Army officer. It's a small group of us, but we're among the most highly educated compared to many other corporations or institutions. I was surprised at what I found in being an officer and at what the Army helped bring out of me. I'm Major Miles B. Caggins III, Officer, United States Army.
Find a stronger future as an officer at goarmy.com/officer. There's strong, then there's Army strong.
The Putnam family is celebrating 50 years of service in the Bay Area. From the nation's top brands with thousands of cars to choose from, the best certified pre-owned vehicles the Putnam Dealership Group delivers. Test drive in the open space of the peninsula. After 50 years, our overhead is so low we're passing the savings on to you. Our customers love us, and it shows with our online reviews. Make your next stop at the Putnam Auto Mall on California Drive in Burlingame.
You know, it's really hard to get that recognition.
There aren't many places where nonprofits are being recognized.
We have such a great community. We have so many intelligent, amazing leaders. There's organizations popping up all the time who are doing incredible and innovative things.
Something like Classy and the Collaborative and the awards ceremony, it just really platforms the good work that's being done. I would definitely tell other organizations to apply for the nomination, to engage with what Classy is doing through the awards ceremony and through the collaborative.
I would definitely encourage any organizations out there interested in applying to go through the process. It's helpful for your own thinking internally. What are you putting out there? What does research show?
They benefit from that experience by receiving the recognition they deserve for, you know, the work that they're doing, and also discovering ways that they can improve the way that they're impacting the world. It shifts the paradigm on what organizations should be and could be.
I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm proud to be in front of all you folks who put service above self and make a difference in the world.
Among all of these great organizations that are doing such important work trying to solve the world's toughest challenges.
Wow, this is amazing.
Being here tonight in this room with so many distinguished nonprofit pioneers has been a humbling experience.
And tonight's batch is the creme de la creme of those groups.
Okay, the cry, the tears can start right here, so be careful.
Goodness gracious, what an honor to receive an award like this in a room full of such greatness.
What this award really is about for our organization is a group of people that really said, you know, it's not good enough anymore.
And the classy goes to...
And the classy goes to.
The classy goes to...
The classy goes to.
And the classy goes to.
And the classy goes to...
All right, listen up. Out on that field today, you will be ready for anything. And I want you to always remember, this is the greatest team you will ever be part of.
There's important work to be done. And only some able to do it. Can you make the cut?
Welcome back to Kezar Stadium here in San Francisco, where the final score, San Francisco City FC 0, BYU 1, in a terrifically played game on both sides. There was a lot to play for tonight, Mike.
Yeah, we talked about the importance of San Francisco City FC turning this season into what feels like a winning season. And I think they had the chance tonight, fourth place, fifth in the division, and BYU comes out on top. And this is going to be a tough one for City to recover from. It looked like they turned the corner with a 1-1 draw last week and may have felt like they deserved to win. But then tonight they did create chances, but falling behind to that moment of absolute pure quality from BYU. Again, the similar story, Charles, creating chances, unable to put them away.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights here, and there are a ton of highlights in this game.
Early sighter there for the cameraman. Nice technique.
Got to go with that one first.
He's shaking his head.
Thank you, Ricardo. This was Pemberton. Over to Josh Hunter on the left side. He was the danger man for BYU. This is the palm save by Harms. And Vasconcelos coming more and more into this game. He was terrific. Now this was Bubba Kelly with a little chip, hits the post again. And if that just goes in for SF City, might have been a different story. But BYU continued to press, and this is absolutely terrific.
Yes, what in England we call that a worldie, Charles. An absolute worldie there by Meyer, coming out of the back, right-footed. I mean, I can watch this all day. It's pure quality. Has a look up, hits it just across the ball with the right foot into the top corner. Forget about that, Austin Harms. You're getting nowhere near it. Pure class.
Yeah, well, Ethan Meyer obviously very excited about that one. This was Trevor Hyman trying to turn the corner. Kind of a tightrope on a small curling run from the left to the right. Beginning of the second half, Kevin Gould jumping over Ryan Botcherly. Hyman again back onto his right foot with the shot, for me, one of the best efforts for SF City FC.
Yeah, again, that one was made by Ashley Watson, a very clever, was really of most of what was good about City tonight. Here's an example of what was not so good. Bubba Kelly there reacting with Hunter, and it started to spill over a little bit there, started to boil over. You can see there Kelly wants afters, Hunter just walking away, and it was really from that point onwards that things started to get a little bit too tasty.
Yeah, as you can see, Nick Littleton hits the deck there. There was a yellow card issued in this second half as SF City tried to push for the equalizer. BYU is very good in their stead. This is the chip by Crow, and Nick Littleton, ooh, he gets up high and just shaves the outside of the post. Parmesan cheese on a grater.
Yeah, it would have been an absolute beauty if that one had gone in. Great technique. And here you can see Ashley Watson with the chance right at the death on his left foot. So disappointing that doesn't come down and get on target. And that was the final chance of the game really for City. So more disappointment at home for San Francisco City.
Well, BYU takes a little bit of a step up the table, and they usurps SF City FC, now on 12 points. So SF City at the bottom of the table, a lot of work to do. Credit to BYU for getting the result tonight, and Ethan Meyer with a well-taken goal. PDL, watch out. That's definitely a hashtag path to pro all over your social media. Of course, we'll be seeing that one for days. We want to thank you for joining us and tuning into this broadcast and helping to grow the game of soccer in this country, the United States of America, by tuning into this broadcast. That's exactly what you do. We want to thank Classy.org, Freedom Plus, and our broadcast team here, the Bay Area Online Sports Network. The mission is to deliver top quality, high-definition, cost-effective broadcasts of local high school and college sporting events on the web. You can find us live, online, and later at BAOSN. That's BAOSN.TV. Cheers to everybody in the production team tonight. Our cameraman, sorry about that, Ricardo. Chief Director and Producer, Jim Petramili. The key grip, of course, Steve Nicolopoulos and Stephen Davies, who was absolutely terrific tonight. And, of course, Mike Geddes alongside me. From San Francisco, the final score from a beautiful Kezar Stadium. SF City 0, BYU 1. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you next week, next Sunday, as SF City FC takes on Ventura County Fusion.